Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Congregation Shirat Hayam. We celebrate Shabbat together and the B'nai Mitzvah of Evan and Marissa. Just a quick show of hands for those who are in the sanctuary. For how many of you this is the first time in a sanctuary in over a year? What a great occasion to come back together, and we appreciate this. We know that rules are going to be changing here on Sunday, but we appreciate you keeping a mask on. The way we're going to do this is if you're behind the plexiglass and you eat meals with the other people behind the plexiglass, you can take your mask off. So when Evan and Marissa are standing here with their parents, you guys should remember to take your mask off. If you don't eat meals together, so when I'm reading Torah and you take, I think somebody's taking an aliyah like Stephen and Marcy, I'll keep my mask on for the Torah reading if you'll keep your mask on too, because we're not having meals together. We'll just stick with that. But otherwise, that's the COVID safe. But we're COVID safe in the sanctuary, and hopefully we're broadcasting live in HD with a clear sound to all of you who have joined us over the web. We're grateful for the many people who are able to participate and have access to this special day through the blessings of the internet. Evan and Marissa, this day really is both a day that looks back and looks forward. For Evan, you just had your graduation from Hebrew school. Marissa, you graduated from Hillel a few years ago. But for each of you, in the sense that this day says, wow, let's look at all you've accomplished in your Jewish learning. You've learned Hebrew, about a relationship with God, hopefully some Jewish cooking, definitely Jewish values, definitely Jewish history. And then it looks to the future and says, take all of that which you have acquired up to now and begin to own it, because you're going to begin with your bar and bat mitzvah to begin making some of your own choices of how you conduct yourself as a human being, how you carry yourself as a Jew in the world, and what parts of that past learning, what pieces of the toolkit do you want to take with you? And what you take will change over time, but you now take ownership of it and responsibility for it. And we hope that this ceremony will serve like a rocket ship and help you blast off into your future. I would like to invite your parents, Marcy and Stephen, to come up with you to present the talitot. The talit have fringes, which reminds us of the commandments, God's love for the people of Israel. Get on camera. We want Marcy and Stephen to be on. There you go. Okay. All right. So you guys got the blessing there. Do you want to hold it in the middle for Marissa, for you and Evan to both see? And you'll say the blessing. Amen. Now you kiss the talus and then they'll wrap it. Yep.
Marissa and Evan, it is our honor to present each of you with a talit. As you both wrap yourself in this prayer shawl, may you only know joy, peace, and happiness throughout your lives. Mom and Dad.
Short and sweet, but you give them a kiss now. If you kiss the tummy, give the parents a kiss. There you go. Evan, Marissa, you stay at the V-line. You want to set up for the Ain Kamocha? I'm going to come over here and let everybody else know what we're doing. I think Debbie, Jonathan, you're going to be in position standing outside the arch for its opening. Evan and Marissa are leading the service. It's going to begin on page 139 in the blue book beneath your chairs. However, you may want to focus your attention on their spiritual leadership and not the printed words of the page, because they're going to be inspiring us with their presence and their voices this morning, and the book is only a support. So we continue now on page 139.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kamaseha, malechutaha malchut kol hamim, umemshaltaha be'kol dor v'dor. Adonai, 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 ve'olam va'ed. Adonai,
We rise as the ark is open and continue it by a heaving soul. We're the servants of the Holy One, whom we revere, whose Torah we revere at all times. Not on mortals do we rely, nor upon angels do we depend, but on God of the universe. The God of truth, whose Torah is truth, whose prophets are truth, and who abounds in deeds of goodness and truth. In God we put our trust, and in God's holy precious being do we utter praise. Open our hearts to your Torah. Answer our prayers and the prayers of all your people Israel, for goodness, for life, and for peace. All right, Evan. I'm going to use that right there.
Yes.
I stand center.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
COVID, we're not parading the Torah around. Let me take the Torah from you, Evan and Marissa. You guys have a seat well done. If you'll slide your books off to the side. Excellent. Once the Torah is resting as it is, we too take our seats. Okay. Was there a special Torah cover that you made? No, that was no. Next week. Confused. Oh boy. Okay. All right. For the first aliyah on page 821 in the red books, the first aliyah will be on page 821 in the red books. Again, if you want to follow along, great. If you want to follow along with what's happening up here. If you're following along at home and you want to see the content of today's Torah reading, we're reading from Sefer Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, chapter 9. Our reading begins with verse 15. The first aliyah will be chapter 9, 15 through 18. Again, in the red book, it's on page 821. Let me just give you a little sense of what's happening in this parsha. It begins, and on the day that they set up the tabernacle, the cloud covered the tabernacle. Things are going incredibly well for the Israelite people. They have been camped at Mount Sinai, connecting with God, receiving Torah and commandments, learning how to live their lives as a free people with ethical and rituals to connect themselves to each other and to God. And now it's time for them to journey from the wilderness into the promised land. If you Google the distance from Mount Sinai to Israel, maybe 2 weeks, should take 2 weeks. But how many years does it take? Does anybody know? Kids, you know how long the Jewish people wander in the desert? Not hundreds of thousands, but 40 years. A 2-week journey takes 40 years. But right now, we don't know that. Right now, everything's going well, and they have made all these preparations. God's presence has entered into the tabernacle so that the presence can travel with them as they move through the desert, protecting them, being a cloud during the day, a pillar of fire at night. They're going to, as you'll see later on in the reading, they're going to build some trumpets, some hatzotrot, to give people instructions about when to march. Everything is going perfect, and they will begin that journey in our reading today. If you followed along to the next chapter that we're not reading, chapter 11, that's when things start to fall apart. So we're on the precipice of we know the story, but right now it's really good. So let me call up. May God, you God, help, shield, and save all who trust in you, and let us say amen. Let us all declare the greatness of God and give honor to the Torah. Please bring in Sivia and Rafi Frim. Yom Du Yehuda Peret HaKohen Bemenachem Mendel Udevora Miriam Yehudit Bat Daniel VeEsther Baruch Shenatanta. Oh, I said Kohen Kara. Baruch Shenatanta Alo Moisel V'Kedushato V'Atem Adevekim B'Adonai Elohechem Chaim Kochem Hayom.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Mavarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bacha Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayom hakim et hamishkan, kisa ha'anan et hamishkan le'ohel ha'edut uva'era yeh hamishkan k'marei esh ad boker kan yeh tamid ha'anan yichasenu u'marei esh laila lefihi. E'alot ha'anan me'al ha'ohel ve'acharichen yis'u b'nei Yisrael ובמקום אשר ישכון שם הענן שם יחנו בני ישראל אבי אדוני יישאו בני ישראל ואבי אדוני יחנו כל ימי אשר ישכון הענן על המשכן יחנו
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. We're holding with the second Aliyah, chapter 9, verses 19 through 23, page 822 in the Red Italian Chumash. I invite Marissa to come forward to read from the Torah, and for the second Aliyah, I invite Debbie and Jonathan. Yom Du, Deborah Shana, Bat Manyash Veshimi, Baruch Alexander, Ben Asher Michael, Esther Bela, Sheni.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMavarach. Baruch Adonai HaMavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Ufa'arich he'anan al hamishkan yamim rabim v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et mishmeret Adonai v'lo yisa'u v'yesh asher yeh he'anan yamim mispar al hamishkan al pi Adonai yachanu v'al pi Adonai yisa'u v'yesh asher yeh he'anan me'erev haboker v'na'ala he'anan b'boker v'nasa'u o yomam v'layla v'na'ala he'anan v'nasa'u o yomayim o chodesh o yamim v'harich he'anan al hamishkan lishkon alav yachanu v'nei Yisrael v'lo yisa'u Uphe aloto yisa'u, al pi Adonai yachanu, v'al pi Adonai yisa'u, et mishmer Adonai shamru, al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yasher Koach, Marissa. We'll be calling Marissa back to the Torah for her bat mitzvah aliyah a little bit later, but Yasher Koach, well done with your Torah reading this morning. We're holding with chapter 10 now, verses 1 through 7, page 822, and you'll see that we are reading the instructions about how the blast of the Hatzrotrot, the blast of the trumpet, will be communicate within the camp about when to go and when to stop, who should go, who should come. So we're going to continue now. Would you please bring in David Frim for the third aliyah? Yom Du, David Yisroel ben Moto Farvish v'Tzivya Rasi Shalishi.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMavarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor aseh lecha sheteh hatzotrot kesef miksha ta'aseh otam v'hayu lecha lemikra ha'edah u'masaha et hamachanot v'tik'uhu bahen v'no'aduhu elecha kol ha'edah el petach u'mo'eh v'im ba'achat yitka'u v'no'aduhu elecha ha'nesi'im rashei afei Yisrael utkatehem tru'ah v'naseuhu hamachanot chachonim kedmam v'titka'u utkatem trua sheni, v'naseu hamachanot chahonim temana, trua temana, trua yitku lemasehem, uchakil et hakahal, titkeu velo tariu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We're holding with the fourth Aliyah, chapter 10, verses 8 through 10, page 823. For the fourth Aliyah, please bring in Mason Prim and Rebecca Burns. Yom Du Moshe Yisrael ben Motel Farvish v'Tzivia Rasi v'Tzipora Rachel bat Dennis v'Helin Revi.
Baruch es Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol na'im. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Uvenei Aharon HaKohanim Yitkeu Bahatzrotzrot Vahayu Lahem L'hukat Olam Ledorotechem Kitabahu Melchama Me'atzechem Hatzah Hatzorer Etchem Vahareotehem Bahatzrotzrot V'nizkatem Lifnei Adonai Elohechem V'noshatem Me'oivechem Uvayom Simchatechem U'mo'odechem Uvrashechot Shechem V'tikatem Bahatzrotzrot A'olotechem ve'azivchei shalmechem v'hayu lechem lezikaron lifnei Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem. Oh, you'll have to unmute so we can hear you.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We are now holding with the fifth Aliyah, and we've just discussed these trumpets, which will be the command signals, and now we're going to discuss the order in which the tribes will march, so that there's a very organized and orderly journey. They think they're going to Eretz Yisrael, but we know it's going to take a little longer. For the fifth Aliyah, we'd like to invite Ellen and Bert. Yom Du, Albert, Ben David, Helen, Ellen. But what are your parents' names? Tova Esther. Hamishi. Let me put my mask on for this reading. All right. You can take your talents and touch the Torah. Very good. You're going to put a hand on the wood. One of you. Perfect. And you got the bracha right there. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chavanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai nosein haTorah. Amen. V'yehi b'shana sheni b'chodesh hasheni b'esrim b'chodesh na'ala ha'anan me'ah mishkan ha'edut ויסעו בני ישראל למעשיהם ממדבר סיני, וישכון הענן במדבר פרן, ויסעו בראשונה על פי אדוני ביד משה, ויסעו דגל המחנה בני יהודה בראשונה לצבאותם, ועל צבאו נחשון בן עמינדב, ועל צבא המטה בני יששכר נתנאל בן צועה, ועל צבא המטה בני זבולון אליהו בן חילון, והוא המשכן. ונשאו בני גרשון ובני מררי נושאי המשכן, ונשא דגל מחנה ראובן לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אליצור בן שדאור, ועל צבא המטה בני שמעון שלומיאל בן צורי שדי, ועל צבא המטה בני גד אליסה בן דואל. You touch the Torah again?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, vayei olam natan v'tzorenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yes, Torah. And for the sixth Aliyah, we are holding with chapter 10, verses 21 to 28. We continue the story of who's going to travel when. Verses page 824 in the red X, Hayam much. And so for the sixth Aliyah, please bring in Deborah Farmalant, Diane Farmalant, and James Farmalant. Yom du Hadassah bat Hayam Levi v'frum Abela, v'Diane bat Hayam Levi v'frum Abela, v'Yehuda Abraham ben Hayam Levi v'frum Abela, Shishi.
Aku et Adonai Hamborak.
Baruch Adonai Mavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborak le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bakabanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'naseu hakehatim nosi'ei hamikdash, והקימו את המשכן עד בואם, ונשא דגל מחנה בני אפרים לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אלישמע בן עמיחוד, ועל צבא המטה בני מנשה גמליאל בן פדצור, ועל צבא המטה בני בנימין אבידן בן גדעוני, ונשא דגל מחנה בנימין בני דן מאסף לכל המחנות לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אחיעזר בן עמישדי, ועל צבא המטה בני אשר הגיאל בן עופרן, ועל צבא המטה בני נפתלי אחירה בן עינם, אלה מסעי בני ישראל לצבאותם, ויסעו.
Ready? Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'kayei olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. For the seventh Aliyah, we're holding chapter 10, verses 29 through 34 on page 825. I invite the parents of the B'nai Mitzvah, Marcy and Stephen, to come forward. Yom du Masha Esther ben Nota v'Gita v'Shalom ben Manya v'Shimi Shivi. You guys get in here. Stand close. There you go. You're going to touch the Torah with your talis. Here about the wood.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Mavarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Moshe לחובב בין גואל המגני הותן משה נוסעים אנחנו אל המקום אשר אמר אדוני אותו אתן לכם לך איתנו והיטבנו לך כי אדוני דיבר טוב על ישראל ויאמר אליו לא אלך כי אם אל ארצי ואל מולדתי אלך ויאמר אנא תעזוב אותנו כי על כן ידעת חנותינו במדבר ויתן לנו לעיניים והיה כי תלך עמנו והיה טוב ההוא אשר ייטיב אדוני עמנו והיטבנו לך וייסעו מהאדוני דרך 3 ימים וארון ברית אדוני נוסע לפניהם דרך 3 ימים לתת להם מנוחה ואינן אדוני עליהם יומם ונוסעם מן המחנה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Marissa and Stephen, I get to give you a blessing here on the occasion of your children becoming the name Mitzvah. And the words here are really powerful for this moment because it's a family moment in the Torah where Moses says to his father-in-law, we're setting out for the place which the Lord has said, I will give it to you. Won't you come with us? And he says, I will not go. And then, of course, Moses wanted him to come so that he would sort of help show them the way. But instead, the cloud will go with Israel and protect them. And I think so too on this occasion of the B'nai Mitzvah. How nice it would be if the kids would just stick around and you would continue to show them the way. But you have raised them to this point so that they might begin to take on some new responsibilities and to march in their own path. And the beautiful thing is, the Lord's cloud kept above them by day and moved on and moved with them. And so even as you begin this process of this bittersweet process of recognizing their achievements and their growth, but also the potential for them to fly the coop, you should know that the Lord's cloud kept above them by day. We want to bless the two of you. May God bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, and Rachel, and Leah. Bless Stephen and Marcy who have come for an aliyah with reverence for the Shabbat, respect for God and the Torah, and joy in their hearts to celebrate the B'nai Mitzvah of their 2 children. They thank you for the strength and the wisdom and the patience and the love which you have granted them that they might raise their children to reach this occasion. Help them, guide them to understand their children and their growth and who they are as individuals, that they may continue to grow as they progress through life, and bless them with joy and happiness on this and every day forward. And let's say, Amen. You guys are going to hang out here because I want you to stand close as your children are called to the Torah. I'm going to chant the Hatzi Kaddish. Yitkada v'yitkadash merava ve'amad v'achete v'mechmafute v'chaye kol v'yomecha v'chaye lecho beit Yisrael v'gala u'bizman kariv v'meru amei yehesh merava mevorach le'olamo me'amaya Yitbarach, Yishabach, For the Maftir Aliyah, page 825, chapter 10, verses 32 through 34, I call Evan and Marissa to the Torah for the first time. Yom du, Abuchur v'habachura, Abar mitzvah v'habat mitzvah, Pinchas Wolf ben Shalom v'Masha Esther v'Miriam Alana bat Shalom, v'Masha Esther Matir. Evan, you want to find your spot? The Hayam left, that's the spot. Marissa and Evan stand close. You can take your talis, touch the Torah, and then together you'll do the blessings. You guys stay close. This is special. Don't leave. Don't leave. You guys get to crowd them in here. Look along as your son reads from the Torah. Evan's on this side, Marsha and Stephen on that side. Okay, make sure you're in the picture. There you go.
Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamid, Benatan Lamed Et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah. Behaya Kitele Imanu, Behaya Hato Ha'u, Asher Yeti Anai Imanu, Behe Tanu, Wach Baizu, Meher Adonai, Der Shaloshet Yamin, where Aram Barit Adonai, Nase Alinehan, Der Shaloshet Yamin, Lator Lahem, Menu Ha, Ba'ana Adonai, Alehem, Yoman, Benas, Mihar Mahana.
Baruch
Baruch
atah
Adonai,
Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam, atah b'toheinu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
All right, Mom and Dad, we're going to call you back to bless them a little bit later in the service once they've done some of the other responsibilities. At this point, if you two will stand on that side of just right here and face me, just make sure you're stand together. There you go, that's perfect. So we have a little blessing to share with you. May God who bless our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless Pinchas, Wolf, Ben Shalom, Masha, Esther, Miriam, Elana, Bat Shalom, Masha, Esther, who have come for an aliyah on the occasion of their B'nai Mitzvah with respect for God and the Torah. May the Holy Blessed One protect and sustain you both, helping you be wholehearted in your faith, to walk in God's ways, to study Torah, fulfill mitzvot, to find your unique paths, to retain the goodness in your hearts, your hope for people. May your parents continue to raise you to maturity, guiding the two of you to the blessings of Torah, Kuppah, and a life of Ma'asim Tovim, good deeds. May you continue to find favor before God and the community, and let us all say, Amen. You guys step just to the side. I'm going to lift into the paper Torah, and then you guys are going to come back and read the house. Because of COVID, we're going to do just this very simple lifting. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael api Adonai b'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Before blessing you two take a seat. The Haftarah is from the book of Zechariah in chapter 2. I think it's going to start, we'll look it up. Page 837 in the red books. If you're following at home and you don't have a red book, all right, if you're at home and following along, it's chapter 2, verse 14 through chapter 4, verse 7 from the book of Zechariah. And I think that there's at the very, stick around, because at the very end of the Haftarah, there's sort of a very famous line that may be familiar to some of you. So we'll continue with the suspense of that famous line, the Haftarah Zechariah. Take it away.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbi'im tovim v'ratzah b'divarehem ha'ne'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nbi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek. Rani Basihi Batsion Ki Inani Va Vishahanti Betohe and Umarnai Benyogu Goi Rafi Elanai Bayon Ha'u Bechayuli La'an Vishahanti Betohe V'yoda'at Kiranai Sevarot Shalahani Elayech V'narham Anai Et Yahuda Yalko Admat HaKodesh V'yahar V'Yerushalayim Haskol Basar Itne Anai Kine Or Mi'om Karsha Vayar'eni et Yahushua HaKohen HaGadol Omed Livnei Ma'ach Adonai V'Hasatan Omed Vayamina L'Sitna'o Vayomer Adonai El Hasatan Yiga Adonai Bechar Hasatan V'Yiga Adonai Bechar Abocher Yerushalayim Halo Zeh Mutzar Mesh Vihoshua Hayam Ush Vegardim Soim Bayomer Livne Ma'ach Bayaan Bayomer Elhayudim Lefarnab Lemor Harsiru Hargadim Hatsoim Me'ala Vayomer Elav Re'eh Evarti Me'ala Ahona Beharbe Shotam Mahar Sos Vayomar Yasimu Sanim Tapor Arasho Vayasimu Asani Hatapor Arasha Vayabishu Begardim Uma'ach Anai Omed Vaya'ad Ma'ach Anai Bihoshua Lemor Koamar Anai Sevaros Imi Rachai Tele Be'im et Ishmarti Tishmor Vegan atar tardim et beiti vegan tishmor et harsarai ben hartarti lechar malachim ben ha'umim Ha'ela.
Shemona Yehoshua HaKohen HaGadol Ata B're'echa Hayoshvim Lefanecha Ki Anshe Mofet Hema Ki Hineni Mevi Et Avdi Sema Ki Hine Ha'even Asher Natati Livnei Yehoshua Al Even Achat Shiva Einayim Hineni Mefatech B'tuvah Ne'um Adonai Sebaot Umashti Etavon Ha'aretz Ahit B'yom Echad B'yom Ha'u Ne'um Adonai Sebaot Tikra'u Yisraelu Al Tafat Gefen B'al Tafatena V'yashav Hama'ach Hadover Bi V'yireini Ke'ish Asher Ye'or Mishnato Vayomer Eli, Ma ta ro'eh, Va'omar, Ra'iti v'hine menarat, Zahav kula, V'guba al Rosha, V'shiva neroteha aleha, Shiva v'shiva mutzakot, Lanerot, Asher al Rosha, Ushnayim zitim aleha, Echad mimin hagula, Ve'achad al Samola, Vaya'ad Va'omar al Hamalach Hadover Bi Lemor Ma'ele Adoni, Vaya'ad Hamalach Hadover Bi Vayomer Eli, Alo Yadata Mahe Ma'ele, Va'omar Lo Adoni, Vaya'ad Va'omar Eli Lemor, Zed Devar Adonai El Zerubbabel Lemor Lo V'chayil V'lo V'koach Ki V'ruchi Amar Adonai Sebaot Mi'ata Harga Hagadol Lifnei Zerubbabel Lemishor V'hotzi Et ha'eben HaRosha Teshuot Chen Chen La Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Sor Kol Ha'olamim, Sadik V'Kol Hadorot, Ha'el HaNe'eman, Ha'omer V'Oseh, Hamdaber U'Kayim, Shekol Devarav, Emet V'Tzedek. Ne'eman Ata'u Adonai Eloheinu, V'ne'emanim Devarecha, V'Devar Echad Mivarecha, Achor Lo Yeshuv Reikam. Ki al melech ne'eman, v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai, v'atem ha'ne'eman v'kol devarav. Rachem al Sion ki hi beit chayenu, v'la'uvat nefesh toshiyah, b'imheira v'yameinu, baruch atah Adonai, mesameach Sion bevanecha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha u'malchut beit David neshichecha b'mheira yavo ve'yagel libeinu al kiso lo yeshev zar v'lo yimchalu od acherim et kavado ki b'shem koshecha nishbata lo she'lo yikbe nero le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai Magen David. Al HaTorah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al hanvi'i, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shnatata la'anu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'linu lekavod, l'tifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modi'im lach, umbarchim otach, v'parashim ka b'fi kol chai tami le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
You're welcome to have a sun-kissed fruit gem during the service. I don't think you got them to everybody, but we'll get them. You want to have one now. The blessing for the fruit gem is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shehakol Yeh B'Dvaro. Blessed is God through whose word everything, including the sun-kissed fruit gem, came into existence. You can eat it right now, but what you are not allowed to do is hold on to the wrapper because the plastic makes a lot of noise and evidence can be teaching us words of Torah. So Marissa, if you'll take a seat, Evan, and you'll get yourself centered and organized for your Devar Torah. If you want to keep the notebook on your left, great. If you want to put that underneath, out of the way, you certainly can. Very good. All right. Your sister may want to have a sun-kissed fruit gem right now, so we'll give her a chance if she wants to take one. No, she's going to pass on that. All right. Evan, if you will share with us your words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The pandemic has made the need for volunteers grow, and many of us want to help. However, it has also made it challenging due to social distancing. The question is, how can people who truly want to volunteer start? Some of the ways people contribute is by cleaning up beaches or parks, volunteering, and by spending time with the elderly. I'm a person who wants to help people and would like to begin volunteering. But my most family community come from my heart. As I try to volunteer, I realize that nobody wants a kid my age to volunteer. In my Torah portion, the Levites set out to me because they wanted to serve the Lord. To do so, they need to undergo a purification ritual. As it says, thereafter, Levites shall be qualified for the service of the tents of meeting. Once you have cleansed them and designated them as an elevation offering. In my opinion, the extensive purification rituals signify the importance of service. I feel that I can identify with this because I want to make the world a better place too. If we have more people who are like the Levites, we could solve problems. Some of these ones could be cleaning up the environment and donating food and clothes to the homeless. I'm currently starting the process of volunteering by observing my sister Marissa, who has been volunteering at her high school. For example, she cleaned up the bike trail next to her high school. She also conducts fun weekly arts and crafts activities on Zoom with elementary school-aged children who need to bond during these isolating times. Marissa's been doing her part in our community. She's been getting others involved by asking my middle school to work with it to give me and my classmates opportunities to volunteer. I'm excited and looking forward to taking on this responsibility and to become a person that contributes to society. As I become a bar mitzvah, I'll be taking on my responsibility and will continue to help make our community the best it can be. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Well done, Evan. I know that your parents are very proud of you, but they're going to save their words until after Marissa's Devar Torah. So you take a seat. I'd like to invite Janet Kramer and Rabbi Howie Kosofsky to lead us in a prayer for Israel on page 149. You guys can take your mask off up here. Okay, I will give you two. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Goalo.
Avinu Shabashamayim, Rock and Redeemer of the people Israel.
Harechet Medinat Yisrael.
Bless the state of Israel with its promise of redemption.
Veshit Tzmichat Ulatzenu. Hagen Aleha ve'evrat Chazdecha.
Shield it with your love and spread over it the shelter of your peace.
Ufaros Aleha Suchat Shlomecha. Ushalach Orecha v'amitcha v'vashlecha sareha v'yavatzeha.
Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth.
V'takneh be'etzah tova milefanecha.
Help them with your good counsel.
Chazek et yedei meginei eretz kodshenu.
Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land.
V'hanchilem Eloheinu Yeshua.
Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph.
ועטרת ניצחון תעטכם, ונתת שלום בארץ, ושמחת עולם ליושביה.
Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy.
ונאמר,
Amen.
אמן.
Thank you, Janet and Rabbi Howie, and a particularly timely prayer for us to hold Israel in our hearts. I'd like to bring in now Lisa Denise to lead us in responsively in a prayer for peace, page 149.
May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace will embrace the whole world.
Then nation will not threaten nation, and mankind will not again know war.
For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come into being to hate or to destroy. We have come into being to praise, to labor, and to love.
Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations with the power of compassion.
Fulfill the promise conveyed in Scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and no one shall terrify you.
Rid the land of vicious beasts and ravaged by war.
Let love and justice flow like a mighty stream. Let peace fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. And let us say,
Amen. I invite you to rise as I bring the Sefer Torah to the table. Marissa and Evan, you come up here to the reader's table. Marcy and Stephen, you'll stand on deck to open the ark. Okay, yeah. Okay, Evan and Marissa. Marissa, this you will carry the Sacred Torah, so and that's you. Are you comfortable? Do you want to use that down there, or are you comfortable like that? Okay, you stand here. Evan, you'll stand here. You guys can open the ark. Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki nizkar shemo levado, Odol haaretz ve'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tzila lecho hasidah, ziknei Yisrael, am kerovo, hallelujah. Bring me the sacred poem. כי לכך כתב נתתי לכם תורתי תעזובו את העיני Marissa, if you'll come to prepare for your Devar Torah, the three of you will take your seats. You can sit down as the ark is closed and the Torah is resting. We're honored to invite the Bat Mitzvah to the reader's table to share with us her words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
COVID has significantly impacted everyone's life. The pandemic has transformed all areas of life, and it is easy to get caught up in all of these abrupt shifts. Personally, the transition of my education to online learning and accompanying changes to my daily routine were a huge adjustment, but I had to figure out how to manage it all in the best way that works for me. Not everyone has figured it out. Faced with the extraordinary changes and ensuing challenges, some high school students have given up on school. However, even before COVID, there have been many tasks that people have not been motivated to accomplish. How can we cope with the inevitable lack of motivation? Everybody has experienced a disinclination to do the things that are expected of us. The Torah does, however, provide us with two contrasting examples of how to deal with this challenge. These scenarios involve two brothers, both facing their own unique battles. Aaron, a priest, was assigned with performing services inside the tent of meeting. He had mundane and tedious chores to do every day in order to keep God present among the Jews. We too have tasks every day that require us to complete them. How did Aaron maintain the motivation to get up every day and perform his responsibilities? After reading these chapters regarding Aaron's character, I can confidently speculate how he would approach the situation. Undoubtedly, he would use his perseverance to get through each day and put forth his best effort. The great 18th century rabbi, the Vilna Gaon, teaches, day after day, year after year, Aaron's attitude never changed. His work never became routine or boring. He approached each day with the same sense of reverence he brought to his first day. Aaron's attitude to his tough work is really inspirational. He never gave up. He is a model of inner strength and bravery. Aaron's brother Moses also had a daunting job to carry out. Moses had to lead hundreds of thousands of men on a journey to the promised land. On his journey, they all became irritable and miserable. Moses was starting to feel overwhelmed and was not sure how he was going to feed everyone. In contrast to his brother, who relied upon inner strength, Moses' solution to this problem was to turn to the Lord for advice. Moses says, "Why have you, God, dealt ill with your servant? And why have I not enjoyed your favor, that you have laid the burden of all this people upon me? I cannot carry all this people by myself, for it is too much for me." Moses' pleas for support were heard by the Lord, and God ensured that Moses would not be left to fulfill this mission alone. As a result, he instructed Moses to recruit 70 elders so that the responsibilities could be divided amongst the many leaders. Aaron and Moses represent two different ways of coping with life when we want to give up. Aaron is the model for finding the solution from within, whereas Moses is the model for turning to others for assistance. This topic of overcoming challenges strongly resonates with me. After observing how the pandemic influenced teenagers, I wanted to take action within my high school. I am actively involved in 3 groups that help students bond with others and feel less socially isolated. In my social emotional learning group, I meet regularly with other students and faculty to brainstorm ways to uplift these students through these strenuous circumstances. I designed mental health posters with a friend to validate all emotions, which were displayed throughout the high school. Furthermore, I collaborated with faculty and mental health professionals to introduce check-ins during class time to see how everyone is doing. Students and teachers both share their struggles. It is important for students to feel like they can relate to someone, even if they're not in the same age group. A group of students and I created Stop and Talk. This group is a place where students can come and talk to each other anytime they choose. We are currently developing COVID-friendly events to get to know one another better and promote social interaction. Growing Together is the name of the last group in which I'm involved. A couple of friends and I meet weekly with a small group of elementary school to do arts and crafts. The goal is to get kids from various grades to have some fun during these arduous times. All of these organizations represent my intent as a human being, which is to assist others in overcoming challenges. Overall, this pandemic has caused me to reflect upon a variety of significant aspects in our lives. Not only did I learn a lot about myself, but I also learned a lot about other people by helping them. I have seen people's struggles, as well as their successes in overcoming them. As I celebrate my bat mitzvah, I have a deeper understanding of how to help people. Every scenario is handled differently by each person, and the Torah specifically demonstrates this. And I have discovered that the Torah is an amazing source of inspiration. We can all turn to it as well for advice, especially when we face challenges. Shabbat Shalom.
Hello. Evan and your parents, if you'll come up. Parents, if you'd like to say any words to your kids on this special occasion.
Marissa and Evan, I'm incredibly proud of each of you. Words can't express how blessed we feel and how rich our lives are because of you. Marissa, about 4.5 years ago, we started to plan your bat mitzvah. You came to us and expressed that you didn't want to have one. We respected your decision and strongly felt that this important milestone should come from your heart and not be forced upon you. Evan, in 2017, we had to select your bar mitzvah date. We chose Memorial Weekend and anticipate on celebrating with family and friends from near and far. Little did we know, your bar mitzvah date would occur during a pandemic. As the famous expression states, life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans. Marissa, last November, as Evan began his bar mitzvah tutoring sessions, I mentioned to you how his bar mitzvah was going to look quite different and would probably be virtual. We asked you about the prospect of joining your brother to have a b'nai mitzvah, and to our delight, you immediately responded yes. But this actually didn't surprise us because of the very special bond you have with your brother. And here we are today, witnessing you both share in the reading from the Torah as you enter Jewish adulthood. The pandemic may have altered our celebration plans. However, it also is a lesson that sometimes disappointments in life can put you on a path to something even greater and more meaningful. Evan, you are a kind and compassionate person. This is one of the qualities which is recognized by all people that meet you. In 3rd grade, you were selected as Student of the Month for your kindness. In 5th grade, your principal asked you to mentor a new student entering your class in the middle of the school year. You befriended this boy and made him feel comfortable in his new surroundings. And of course, you are still friends with him to this day. This year, you took everything in stride by entering middle school and having your education completely remote. You eased right into this transition and quickly became proficient at Zoom. We're very proud that you were once again selected as Student of the Month in your new school for being a hardworking student with consistent high grades. Evan, you're also very, very stubborn. However, that stubborn streak makes you persevere and resilient. We have been amazed at how much you have accomplished because of your determination. Evan, even when we get anxious about things that you have to do, like preparing for your bar mitzvah, you would tell us, I got this, don't worry. And you know what? You did it. And you always make us proud because we know how hard you work. Marissa, you also are a compassionate individual who has always wanted to help people in need, even at a very young age. We were so proud of you when in 2015, Mass General Hospital selected you and 4 of your friends as the top 100 philanthropists for raising $3,000 by fundraising for the North Shore Cancer Center. You were the youngest honorees for that year. We also know how hard you work, especially this year with school, SAT and advanced placement exams, community and leadership activities, and studying for the B'nai Mitzvah. You have always maintained high honors in school and have recently been accepted to the National Honor Society. This past year, you have shown yourself to be resilient and mature beyond your years. Your father and I have many blessings for both of you as you move forward in life. May your empathy for those who are less fortunate inspire you to act on their behalf in the spirit of tikkun olam, or repair the world. May your excitement and passion for life inspire you to spread joy, hope, and probability to everyone you come into contact with. May your adventurous spirit lead you to embrace life, everything life has to offer. May your self-assurance, determination, and humor serve you well in difficult times. May your Judaism not be just something inherited, but something to be discovered and explored. Most importantly, may your life's journey be long and blessings beyond measure. We love you, Mazel Tov.
It's going to be hard for me to follow what has already just been said. But life is about adjusting to change. As you saw this past year, we all had to adjust to new things. But when I look back, your mother and I had to adjust to things, okay? Dealing with new schools, just all the testing and all that. It's been very difficult with MCAS, and, as you said, SATs and achievement tests. But you made it, you did it. And, you know, when I think back, I remember when Marissa would ride on a scooter, she adjusted to that. Then she started to ride a bicycle, and I had to adjust to that. Now she drives a car. I'm still in the adjustment phase right now, but she is a very good driver. So it's not too bad. But I guess throughout life, we have to adjust to all of and adapt to all of these changes that are going to be coming your way and our way. And I think if we did it so far, I know we can continue that. So your mother and I wish you the best.
You guys all, I'm sorry.
What's
You
that?
done? Is that it? Okay. You guys say that if you're related to this family, would you please rise? Our tradition gives us a special set of words to thank God for granting us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this very moment. So if you know it, please join me in the Hayam prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. You guys get to take a seat. Page 182. Ein Eloheinu, ein Adonenu, ein Makenu, ein Moshienu, Mik Eloheinu, Mik Adonenu, Mik Makenu, Mik Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Makenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makenu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Sheketihu Avotenu, Lefanecha Eketoret Hasamim. Aleinu l'shabech la'adon ha'kol, atem gdula liyotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kol goyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kefo hamonam, v'anachnu gorim, u'mishtatalim u'cholim, לפני המלך ומלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שכונות השמיים ויוצר הארץ, משה ביקרו בשמיים עמו, ושכינת זו בגובה מלומים, הוא אלוהינו אינו, העמד מלכנו ובזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, בדעת היום בהשבות אל אהביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממך, ועל הארץ יהיתך, אינו לא service, we want to remember those who passed in the past 30 days. Dr. Michael Kenneth Goldstein, the uncle of Hal Schwartz, and Lynn Sandler, the daughter of Claire Sandler. We also note the yortsites that fall out today and tomorrow of Elise Jameson, the grandmother of Thomas Levenberg, Carl Brooks, husband of Norma Brooks, Tina Meyer, the mother-in-law of Barbara Meyer, and the grandmother of Mark Meyer. Arlene Gordon, mother of Carol Blotner, Andrew Scott Weinstein, son of Reggie and Lou Weinstein, Fanny Levine Kontofsky, the mother of Joel Levine, Milton Meisner, the father of Neil Meisner, uncle of Judy Hirschberg, Esther Gross, mother of Pearl Greenbaum, Jacob Peckin, the father of Joan Rich, Linda Bloom, Max Bloom, Samuel Stern, Donna Gold-Gucko, the wife of Paul Gucko, Stephen Wexler, cousin of Shelley Schneer, Constance Woods, sister Myron Rosen, Abraham Schneiderman, the father of Elaine Volk, Abraham Redmond, the uncle of Donna Redmond, Jack Long, uncle of Lisa Breslin, Morris Abramoff, the father of Deborah Brooks, Lena Avery, and Rhoda Korn. Is there any other yortsites here in the sanctuary this morning? For all those in mourning or observing a yortzeit, I invite you to rise and we'll join together in the Mourner's Kaddish on page 184. Together, Yitkada v'yitkadash shemechaba, be'alma divrach yirutei gamlich machutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'b'chaye t'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba Mevorach le'olam kulmei amen. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'torman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudishav richu le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We're going to take this moment now to stay in this heartfelt space to recall all of our loved ones and ancestors without whom we would not be here. And in particular, on this special occasion, the family wishes to remember Norman Honigbaum, Myron Eisen, Sylvia Eisen, William Farmelant, Hyman Farmelant. And so we offer you Cantor Alana's Kaddish song. Feel free to be seated. Now I want to turn in our hearts to our loved ones who are living with physical ailments or with psychospiritual suffering. I'm going to offer a prayer for their healing. When I pause between the two paragraphs, feel free to raise your hand and share the names of names of people we can include in our prayer. Who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Is there anyone whose name in the sanctuary we can mention this morning? Yes, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Anyone else? Janet? Thank you, Janet. Anyone else? Thank you. Invite you to say the names or Gloria. Thank you. If you're at home, you can draw your attention towards your friends and family who we want to include in our prayers. The congregation wishes to focus this morning on Casey Batshvi Moshe Ahmed Ben Deborah Ohusha Shani Bachasias Avi Dovi Be'er Shlomo Dov Ben Chanasara Chaim Elad Ben Arle Beitlin Erdana Mary Levin. May the source of healing be with Yechel Moshe Ben Yocheved Rasha Bat Nida Riza Luz Ben Iolek Caitlin Crump Avram Cohen Mike Whitney. May their suffering be like this morning's rainstorm. When it passes, the sun comes out. Nicholas and Shevitz, Rachul Ben Achama, Ed Berman, Judy Krasker, Bruce Samuels, Beryl Ben Goyla Rachel, Rowan Hoffman, Sherry Wurtzel. Give strength to Edith Lovins, Marta Bat Marina, Jeff Schwartz, Marjorie Sonntag, Dol Parnes, Lev Shalom Ben Mir Shoshana. Allow them to enjoy the blessing of spring. Phyllis and Norman Greenstein, Charlotte Brody, Marsha Bat Viola, Yisrael Hosha Ben Chaya, Ido Bat Sarah, Amitai Yaakov Ben Bela, Ita Miriam Bat Basheba. May they be invigorated like the smell of the new roses. Kalev Yehuda ben Iri, Deborah Miriam bat Manya, Yehaya Leib ben Chana, Eliyahu Yonah ben Rivka, Miriam bat Nechama, Ruvain ben Sarah, Neil Berenson, Rivka, Machlo Abe ben Celia. May they be blessed with visitors, David Yehuda ben Miriam Chaya, Marla Curtis, Chana bat Rachel, Shoshana Chaya bat Hava Roots, Diane Seliski, Rivka bat Zisel, Rezo bat Michal, Suri Rabia bat Leah, Ruvain Azar ben Chana. Give strength to Susan Ruth Justin, Yehosh ben Shmuel, Yulena Tzokolo, Brindle Sora bat Chana, Miriam Davida bat Dana, Leah bat Leah, Deborah bat Sarah, Miriam Sarah bat Rizal, Shmuel Yitzhak, and Gloria Honigwald. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I invite our President, Ruth Estrich, to the lead.
Kevin, what would you do the announcements? Okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much for. I can?
Oh. Now I get to see your smile.
Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be with you all. Let me read the announcements. This Monday, May 31st on Memorial Day, we will again host the Monday morning minyan, but on Zoom only, so not in person, don't come here, at the holiday time of 9 a.m. For the month of June, we will continue with Monday morning minyan at in-person Shirat Hayam and via Zoom at 7:30 a.m., not 8 a.m. We are helping out Temple Sinai through June and covering this for them until their new rabbi starts. The new schedule is in the weekly and is on our website. Next Shabbat, June 5th, will be the regular Shabbat schedule with renewal and the traditional service at 9 a.m., followed by Torah study, Mourner's Kaddish, and healing at 10 a.m. using our usual Zoom links. We'll also present men's club scholarships to our graduating high school seniors. Next Thursday, June 7th at 7 p.m., Shirat Hayam is a community sponsor of the JCC's event with human rights activist Chloe Valdary. Her talk will focus on anti-Semitism, Israel, and how her theory of enchantment may be a valuable alternative to the diversity, equity, and inclusion training being offered in schools, government, and workplaces around the country. So those are the announcements. Okay, do the kids come up? Is that what we do now?
Yes.
Okay. So these are your certificates. Marissa, this is yours. Evan, this is yours. You know, I was sitting here all morning with you, and I had so many thoughts from the things that you guys said, and from what I saw from your whole family. One of the things that I say a lot is that life happens for you, not to you. No matter what it is, our job is to look for the lessons and the good in everything. And I heard so much of that here this morning. I'm so touched that the two of you are doing this together. And I loved how it reflected what we heard in the Torah study too, about the siblings, about Aaron and Moses. And to see the two of these siblings do this together and from your hearts, and to hear the story from your mom about how you decided not to have a bat mitzvah and then changed your mind. And it makes it so much more special that you two have done this together. And I know that you will remember it for the rest of your lives. And the pandemic's influence on you is just incredible, you know, to get such blessings and such good out of what has been happening to all of us really made my day. So congratulations to both of you. It really has just been a privilege to be here with you. Here are your Kiddush cups, and may they be with you forever, and may you enjoy them for the rest of your lives. And to the parents, the other thing that was so striking to me was the part in the Torah reading where the cloud of God followed the Jews and took care of them. And may that be so for both of you for the rest of your lives. So thank you so much, and Mazel Tov to both of you and to the whole family. Thank you.
I would like to give a couple of thank yous before we conclude the service. I would like to thank Jan Brody for his patience while I for tutoring me for my bar mitzvah. Thank you to Rabbi Michael for his thoughtful reflection with Night of our Torah and guidance with the service. I also like to give a thank you to Janice Knight, as well as the CJA teachers for a wonderful Hebrew and Judaic experience during my years in Hebrew school. Thank you to my mom and dad for their love and support. And I'm going to give a thank you to my sister Marissa, who has brought even more meaning to this special day by sharing this Mitzvah service with me.
I want to say thank you to Jan Brody for meeting with me every week and preparing me for this day. Thank you to Rabbi Michael for your insight on my Devar Torah and your guidance throughout this journey. Thank you to my parents for all the love and support you have given me. And thank you, Evan, for sharing this special day with me.
Evan and Marissa, let's put those Kiddush cups to use. If you'll take them out of their special velvet case, let's pour a glass of grape juice. And let us celebrate the Shabbat.
All right. You guys will face your guests on the camera. You'll get a chance maybe to see some of them. If it's your custom, please rise for Kiddush. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. אוי 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 בני ובני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי זרע וינפש. Zachor Yom Shabbat L'Kodesh. Remember the Sabbath day to make it holy. For in 6 days you can do all your work, but you got to have 1 day during the week for special occasions like this. God too rested on this day, and therefore God blessed the 7th day and made it holy. Al ken berach Adonai Yom Shabbat mikadsheu sabri.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher operei pri hagafen.
Amen. Drink the wine. Grape juice. All right. Now you do a holy hand washing with the rabbi. You hold the napkins for that. Okay. You put your gabas down. You hold the bucket for us. Put your right hands over. 1, 2, 3. Put your left hands. 1, 2, 3. Raise your hands high. Say a blessing with the rabbi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Whoa, hold that to the camera.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
tzivanu. Take a seat and let's celebrate with a gorgeous slideshow. Have a bite of challah too. Wave to the people, stand up here. So that they can say their congratulations and okay. If you guys want to say anything to them, you can say thank you.
Thank you so
the
much.
Service is concluded, and you should visit with your guests like it's a cocktail hour.
Thank you so much for.
Evan and Marissa.
Congratulations, you did a great job.
Marissa and Evan, so many wonderful memories.